My beloved child, slow your scrolling. Yes, right there. Let your hand hover over the exit for a moment and listen. You did not arrive here by accident, not by an algorithm, not by coincidence. This is a divine interruption, a holy pause breaking into your noise. I have watched you wander through nights that looked normal on the outside, but felt heavy on the inside. I have seen you ask questions you never dared to speak out loud. And I have heard the prayers you whispered with a tired mouth and a trembling heart. So I brought you here on purpose. Because 2026 is not just a new number. It is a threshold, a spiritual gateway, a door that responds to alignment, not ambition. And if you step into it carrying the same weight, the same wound, the same silence you dragged through 2025, you will feel the new year, but you will not enter it. Look at me. Before I give you the keys, I want you to mark this moment, not as a comment for a video, no, as a declaration in the unseen. Type "I am here, Lord" or 7007 in the comments below. Not because I need your words, but because your spirit needs agreement. When you speak, you stop drifting. When you declare, you stop negotiating with doubt. You are telling heaven, I am present, I am listening, I am ready. Now listen carefully, because I am about to open 3 things for you, 3 revelations that will change how you interpret your entire year. First, there is a door that closed in 2025, and you called it rejection. But I called it mercy. You will understand why I said no, and you will stop bleeding from a place I already rescued you from. Second, there is someone who walked away or shifted into a shadow, and you thought you were abandoned. But I was extracting poison from your bloodstream. I was separating you from what could not follow you into what I'm building. And third, at the end of this journey, I will seal you. Not with fear, not with superstition yet, with a quiet authority that makes your nervous system exhale. You will not step into 2026 as a fragile soul begging for peace. You will step in as a restored child carrying peace. Yes. This is that kind of message. You have felt like a stranger in your own story. You watched others move forward while you stayed in the hallway of delay, smiling in public, collapsing in private. But I tell you the truth. Delay was not denial. It was preparation. And the furnace you feared would consume you, refined you. 2026 is a gateway of upgrade. A promotion of your spirit, your finances, and your purpose. Not because you finally became perfect, but because you stayed, you endured, you kept breathing when you thought you couldn't. The enemy tried to bury you in 2025, but I used the pressure to lay a foundation. You are not behind. You are being built. You are not breaking. You are becoming. Now press like if your spirit agrees with heaven's plan over your life. Let that be your silent amen. And subscribe to this sanctuary, not as entertainment, but as alignment, so my voice can keep finding you when the world gets loud again. Because what comes next is not gentle comfort without truth. In the next chapter, I will speak to the weight you carried through 2025, the exhaustion that sleep could not heal, the ache you hid behind. I'm fine, the quiet grief you never named. And I will show you why it didn't destroy you. Stay with me, beloved child. The gateway is open, and your name is written on the invitation. I have watched you through the long-shadowed corridors of 2025, and I want you to know that not a single moment of your struggle went unnoticed. I saw you in those quiet, desperate hours after midnight, when the rest of the world was asleep. But your mind, was a battlefield of what-ifs and how-longs. I saw the way you held your breath, feeling that tightness in your chest, as if the air itself had turned to lead. You carried burdens that were never meant for your shoulders, trying to fix things that were broken beyond human repair, and then wiping your face and putting on a mask of strength before stepping back into a world that kept asking you to be fine. You have been brave, my child, but I know the cost of that bravery, and I was never absent in your silent agony. This exhaustion is deeper than your skin and bones. It is the fatigue of the spirit born from giving while receiving nothing in return, from sowing seeds in a season that looked like a desert, from smiling at a table while your heart splintered into pieces. You felt misunderstood by those closest to you, as if you were speaking a language of pain no one could translate. The weight of 2025 was not only the external challenges, the financial setbacks, the health scares, the uncertainty. It was the slow, heavy realization that you were reaching the end of yourself. And listen to me. The end of your strength is the beginning of my power. The scars you carry are not marks of shame. They are credentials of survival. They are proof that the enemy attempted to take you out and failed because my hand was over your life, even when you could not feel it. There are things you still do not understand about that year, and that is why it still aches. You keep replaying the moments that broke you, calling them mistakes, calling them loss, calling them wasted time. But you did not see what I saw. You did not see the accidents I diverted, the rooms I kept you from entering. The conversations I made you miss the outcomes. I softened the unseen mercy that stood between you and what could have destroyed you. You only counted the prayers that were answered, but you did not count the disasters that were canceled before they could touch your name. What felt like delay was often protection. What felt like silence was often restraint. What felt like empty space was me removing what could not survive the next season. And there is something else you have been carrying, like a hidden thorn, the wound of a door that shut when you needed it to open. A job, a relationship, an opportunity, a dream. You watched it slip from your hands and you called it rejection. But I am telling you now, there are times my no is the purest form of love. I closed what would have confined you. I blocked what would have cost you your peace. I withheld what would have robbed you of your future self. You do not yet see the full picture, but you will, and when you do, you will stop grieving what I rescued you from. So do not be ashamed of your brokenness, for it is through the cracks that my light reaches the places you tried to keep hidden. The pressure of 2025 was not to crush you, but to squeeze out what would have hindered you in the glory ahead. I had to let you taste the brittleness of human strength so you would learn the stability of the rock that does not move. You are in a sacred transition now, between the pain you survived and the promise you are about to step into, and I am not asking you to pretend it didn't hurt. I am asking you to let me interpret it for you. Because next I will speak about the one wound you avoid naming out loud, the moment someone shifted into a shadow, the moment trust cracked, the moment a presence became an absence. And you will understand that what left you was not allowed to carry you into what is coming. My beloved, I have felt the sting in your heart, the kind that does not come from strangers, but from the hands of those you once called your own. I saw the moment you realized the people you carried were the same ones who could turn their backs the moment your strength wavered. You were the bridge they crossed, the shoulder they leaned on, the silent provider who kept giving without keeping score. And then your winter arrived, and you found yourself standing in a hollow silence. I watched as those you fed with your own bread began to speak against you in the shadows, biting the hand that sustained them. And I know how betrayal makes you question your kindness, how it makes love feel foolish, how it tempts you to harden your heart just to survive. But listen, Your love was not in vain, and your kindness was not weakness. I saw every whispered word, every cold shoulder, every calculated exit, and their departure was not an accident. It was a divine eviction I orchestrated for your protection. You ask why I allowed loved ones to become strangers, why the circle you tried to keep together shattered into lonely pieces. Understand this, my chosen one. Some people are only equipped to handle your history, but they are not equipped to handle your destiny. They knew the version of you that struggled, the version they could pity manage or quietly control. But they could not withstand the light that is beginning to rise from your spirit as you approach this new threshold. Their exit was not proof that you are unworthy. It was proof that you are changing. Their leaving was not your failure. It was my filtration. I removed distractions that would have diluted your focus. I removed leeches that would have drained your strength. I removed voices that would have tried to talk you out of the miracle I am preparing. This is the holy separation, and it is not punishment. It is insulation. I am stripping away human dependencies, so you will remember that I am your source, your shield, and your truest friend. But hear me closely, because I am not only speaking about people, I am speaking about what moved through them. There are betrayals that are human, and betrayals that are spiritual. Sometimes the wound is a person, but the intention behind the wound is a shadow that fears what you are becoming. That is why the pain felt disproportionate. That is why it struck the deepest places. Because the enemy does not fight what is insignificant. He fights what is scheduled to rise. And what is coming for you in 2026 is not small. That is why there was sabotage. That is why there was sudden distance. That is why what once felt warm turned cold without explanation. Do not interpret that shift as the end of your story. Interpret it as the proof that a door is near. Now, my beloved, I must protect you from the second wound, the wound that forms after betrayal. The first wound is what they did. The second wound is what bitterness tries to build inside you afterward. Do not let resentment move into the empty rooms they left behind, because bitterness is not strength. It is poison disguised as wisdom. It clouds discernment. It dulls your ability to recognize safe love. It makes you suspicious of the very destiny helpers I am preparing to send. I am not asking you to pretend it didn't hurt. I am asking you to release it so it does not follow you. Forgive not because they earned it, but because you are stepping into a gateway that requires clean hands and a clear spirit. You will not carry their betrayal as a suitcase into your next season. And this is where my wisdom becomes practical, not poetic. Love does not mean access. Compassion does not mean surrendering your gates. There is a difference between a heart that forgives and a life that keeps offering keys to someone who keeps setting fires. In 2026, I will teach you boundaries without guilt and discernment, without paranoia. I will show you how to keep your spirit soft without keeping your life open to harm. I will teach you how to bless from a distance and still remain holy. I am preparing a new table for you, and I am bringing people who will love you for who you are. Not only for what you can do, but before those doors open, you must make peace with the empty chairs so you don't try to refill them with the wrong souls out of loneliness. So let this chapter end with truth, not drama. You are not being abandoned, you are being aligned. You are not being rejected, you are being redirected. And the silence you feel is not emptiness. It is the quiet of the potter's house, where I am reshaping your heart to carry a weight of glory that those who left could never understand. In the next chapter, I will draw you into a holy pause so deep It will calm the storm inside your chest, and then I will teach you how to recognize my voice when it speaks through peace, through dreams, through the quiet certainty that does not panic. My child, you currently find yourself in a space that feels like a void, a strange and quiet limbo where the echoes of the past have faded, but the music of the future has not yet begun. You look around and see others running, building, and achieving, while you feel as though you are standing still in a tunnel with no end in sight. You have questioned me, wondering if I have forgotten your address, or if you have somehow wandered off the path I set for you. But I am here to tell you this stillness is not stagnation, it is a holy pause. It is the moment between the inhale and the exhale of my spirit. You are not lost, you are being calibrated. I brought you into this silence because I needed to turn down the volume of the world so you could finally hear the frequency of my heart. This interval is necessary because the version of you that survived the trials of 2025 cannot inhabit the blessings of 2026 without being made new. You are shedding old skin, and while it feels like loss, it is actually gain. You are in the hallway of the palace, and though the door behind you is locked, the door in front of you is preparing to swing wide. Think of the caterpillar in the cocoon. To the outside world, it looks like a tomb, a place where life has ceased. To the caterpillar, it feels like disintegration, a breaking down of everything it once believed itself to be. It must become liquid before it can become something new. Right now, you may feel like you are falling apart, like your identity, your dreams, and your strength are melting away. But you are not breaking. You are being rearranged. I am taking the raw materials of your pain and the fragments of your heart to weave the wings you will need to soar in the altitudes of 2026. This weight is not denial. It is preparation. The weight of what I am bringing is too heavy for a fragile spirit, so I am using this pause to strengthen your inner life, to deepen your roots, to build endurance that cannot be bought with excitement. Your strength is not found in rushing. Your strength is found in stillness and in trust. When you stop fighting the process, you stop bleeding in the dark. I want you to stop for a moment. Wherever you are, place your hand over your heart. Feel the rhythm of the life I placed within you. Take a slow, deep breath, and as you exhale, release the anxiety of the unknown. I am already in your future, and I promise you what I have prepared is not chaos. It is clarity. It is safety. It is beauty. You are safe in this cocoon. I am guarding the entrance to this season, and no enemy can touch you while you are under my construction. Now I must give you discernment, because not every voice that sounds urgent is divine. I speak to you through my word, through quiet knowing, through dreams, through holy impressions that leave your spirit steady. My voice does not push you into panic. It leads you into peace. If a thought fills you with dread, superstition, obsession, or frantic pressure, that is not me. When I guide you, I bring light, I bring steadiness, I bring alignment with truth. Begin to keep a simple journal, nothing complicated, just a page where you write the gentle nudges, you feel the dreams, you remember the moments, you sense my direction. Watch how I confirm what is mine through peace, through timing, through outcomes that carry my fingerprints. Lean into the silence, my child, because in this pause, I am not punishing you, I am preparing you. If you receive this comment, I trust you. My beloved, I want to pull back the veil and show you a glimpse of how I see your life from the heights of heaven. There was once a daughter of mine named Erica, who stood before me after her earthly breath had ceased. In that moment of divine light, she looked back at her life not as a series of random accidents, but as a magnificent interconnected tapestry. From the perspective of eternity, the very moments that caused her the most pain on earth were seen as the most vital threads of her growth. she realized that what you perceive as a tragedy in the middle of the story is often the setup for a glorious victory in the final act. You see only the single frame of the film you are living right now, and that frame may be filled with shadows and tears. But I am the great director, and I see the entire great film of your existence. I see how every setback is actually a setup, and how every no you received was my hand guiding you toward a much greater yes, waiting for you in 2026. Your life is not a series of mishaps. It is a masterpiece in motion. Think back to the moments when you walked away from a situation and said, "That was a close call." You may have thought it was luck when you narrowly avoided that accident, or coincidence when that opportunity fell through at the last second, or misfortune when a relationship ended just before it could destroy you. I tell you now, those were not accidents. They were interventions. Erica saw this clearly. She saw the invisible protection that moved danger out of her path and the guardians assigned to her life while she slept. There have been times I allowed a door to slam shut because I saw the cliff just beyond it. You wept at the closed door, but heaven rejoiced because you were spared from a fall you would not have survived. In 2025, many of your failures were actually my shields. I am not only your provider, I am your protector. Even when you did not feel me, I was surrounding you, ensuring the enemy's plan to extinguish your light would never succeed. Stop measuring your worth by a world that only sees the surface. From the vantage point of heaven, your value is not in your bank account or your social standing, but in the resilience of your spirit and the depth of your faith. Every time you chose kindness, when you were treated harshly, every time you chose hope, when everything seemed lost, you were gaining credentials that carry weight beyond earthly titles. The difficulties you have faced were not punishments. They were training sessions. I am preparing you to handle what is scheduled for your 2026. What feels like struggle in the middle of the story becomes testimony at the end of it. You are being refined not for a moment of applause, but for a destiny of impact. Trust the process, for the one who began this work in you is faithful to bring it to completion. My precious child, I have heard the echoes of your frustration throughout 2025. I heard your prayers for that specific job, that particular person, that one opportunity you were certain would change everything. When those doors remained locked, despite your tears, you felt as though I was being distant. You questioned my love, wondering why I would withhold what seemed so good and so necessary. But look into my eyes now and understand the truth that will set your soul free. My no was not rejection. It was mercy in disguise. I closed those doors because I saw what you could not see. I saw that the room behind those doors was too small for the person you are becoming. I saw that what you called answered prayer would have become a prison. You were asking for a drop, and I was preparing an ocean. You were begging for temporary shelter, and I was building a permanent kingdom within you. Do not lean on your own understanding, for your perspective is limited by time, while mine is rooted in eternity. There are paths that look like favor, but lead to slow destruction. There are opportunities that glitter, but drain your peace. There are relationships that feel like relief, but quietly rewrite your identity into something smaller. If I had answered every request the way you wanted, I would have trapped you inside a version of success that would eventually suffocate you. I let you feel disappointment because I was protecting you from a wrong destination. In 2025, you were tempted to settle for good enough, but I have destined you for my best. The no was a redirection, pulling you away from what would have burned you and placing you back on the path toward what will build you. Every closed door was a wall I raised so the wolves of your past could not follow you into your future. And understand this as well, delay is not always an obstacle. Sometimes it is rescue. Sometimes it is me holding you back because the timing ahead would have broken you. Sometimes it is me moving pieces you cannot see clearing. What you cannot clear, removing what you would have kept, and preparing what you could not have imagined. While you were mourning what you lost, I was fortifying your foundation. If I had given you the platform or the resources you demanded last year, the pressure would have crushed you because your inner life was still healing. Now standing at the edge of 2026, you are stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You have learned to trust my heart even when you cannot trace my hand. That is not weakness, that is maturity. So do not call my no cruelty. Call it love with vision. Call it protection with precision. Call it mercy that refused to let you settle for a future that could not hold you. My child, I have seen you in those moments of quiet self-reproach when you stood before the mirror and searched for flaws instead of the light I placed within you. I have heard the harsh whispers of your heart, the ones that tell you you are not enough, that you are too old, too broken, or that your mistakes have permanently stained your value. You have lived under the weight of shame, hiding your true self behind a mask because you feared that if people saw the real you, they would turn away, just as you have turned away from your own reflection. But I am here to tell you what you see with your physical eyes is only a fraction of the truth. I saw you when you were being woven together in the secret place. And I tell you now, you are not a mistake. You are a masterpiece of divine architecture. Every scar, every line, and every perceived imperfection is part of the story I am writing through you. Stop judging the temple I built by the standards of a world that worships shadows. Remember the insight I gave to my daughter Erica when she stood in my presence. She realized the body you inhabit is a temporary suit, a set of borrowed clothes for your journey on this earth. You have spent so much energy worrying about the fabric of this suit, trying to mend its tears, hide its aging, and negotiate your worth with the opinions of people, while neglecting the radiant, eternal soul living inside it. Your soul is made of the same light that created the stars. It is ancient, it is vast, it is more beautiful than your mind can measure. When you look in the mirror, you see the vessel, but I see the treasure. In 2026, I am calling you to stop living for the vessel and start living from the treasure. The shame you have carried is a garment that no longer fits the person you are becoming. It is time to cast it off and clothe yourself in the dignity of your true identity. Now let me teach you discernment within yourself, because not every inner voice is truth. Shame speaks in identity language. You are bad. You are unworthy. You will always be this. Conviction speaks in healing language. This action is not aligned. Come back. Begin again. Shame pushes you to hide. Conviction invites you to grow. Shame drains your breath and makes you feel small. Conviction brings clarity and makes you feel clean. If a thought makes you spiral into self-hatred, that is not my voice. I correct you, yes, but I never crush you. I refine you, but I never name you by your worst moment. I do not call you what you did. I call you mine. So here is what I want you to do, not as a performance, but as a reclaiming. Write this somewhere your eyes can return to when the old whispers return. Write it slowly, and let each word land in your spirit. I am not my mistakes. I am not my failures. I am not my scars. I am a child of God, and I am learning to become whole. Let that sentence become a new doorway in your mind, because you cannot carry the weight of my glory while you are still carrying the weight of shame. Leave the luggage of self-hatred behind. Stand tall, my beloved. Walk with the quiet grace of one who knows they are royalty, not because of what they have done, but because of whose they are. You are mine, and you are being restored. My child, have you ever wondered why the storms seem to hit your house the hardest? Why, just when you were making progress, a sudden wind would rise and knock you back 3 steps. You have looked at your life and felt as though you were under an invisible cloud of bad luck that followed you everywhere. I saw the frustration in your soul when every door you knocked on seemed bolted from the inside, and every bridge you tried to cross seemed to crumble beneath your feet. I want to pull back the curtain and show you the truth. The intensity of the opposition you faced in 2025 was not a sign of my absence. It was a sign of your significance. Darkness does not waste arrows on those walking toward a dead end. The enemy only attacks what threatens his kingdom. You were targeted because of the light you carry, and because the shadows are terrified of the person you are destined to become in 2026. Every obstacle, every strange delay, every unexpected betrayal was a strategic attempt to drain your energy and make you quit before you reach the gateway. I saw the enemy whisper lies into your mind, telling you were cursed, you were forgotten, your prayers were falling on deaf ears. But I tell you now, those attacks were not proof that you were doomed. They were proof that you were dangerous to the darkness. They were evidence that you are chosen, that you are called, that you are carrying something heaven wants released through your life. The fact that you are still standing, still breathing, still listening is already a testimony. The enemy sent his best shot, but it was not enough to erase you, because my hand was over your life, turning his weapons into tools for your construction. Understand this, my warrior, you are not being punished. You are being trained. The pressure of 2025 was the weight room for the crown of 2026. I allowed resistance so your spiritual muscles would grow strong enough to carry what is coming without collapsing under it. There is an authority returning to your voice. There is a fire returning to your eyes. You will no longer be the one running from shadows. Shadows will begin to retreat from you. The era of bad luck is ending, because it was never luck, it was war. And the war did not destroy you, which means the war did not own you. So do not fear the fact that you were opposed. Be humbled by what it reveals. You have a destiny worth fighting. The enemy thought he was burying you, but he did not realize you were a seed. And 2026 is the year you break through the soil, not as the version of you that survived, but as the version of you that rises. My child, I am the God of the second chance, the master of the turning tide, and the restorer of what was stolen in silence. Listen with your spirit, not only with your mind, because I am making a decree over your life for 2026. You have looked back over the last years and seen gaps where joy should have been detours, where progress should have been, and seasons where it felt as though the locusts of life devoured your harvest before it ever ripened. You mourned time you believed was wasted, youth you feared was fading, resources that vanished, and trust that cracked without warning. But I am not bound by clocks, calendars, or the limits of human momentum. I hold time the way you hold breath, and I can restore what you thought was permanently gone. What was taken from you in the dark will return in the light, and it will return carrying my fingerprint. Restoration is not only money returning, it is sleep returning. It is peace returning to your nervous system. It is your confidence returning where anxiety trained you to apologize for existing. It is your voice returning where fear taught you to shrink. It is your reputation returning where you were misunderstood, and your dignity returning where you were treated as disposable. I will breathe life into the dry bones of your past and cause a garden to bloom where you only remember dust. You will not only recover what was lost, you will recover the version of you that disappeared while you were surviving. There is a rhythm to what I am doing. Because you waited with endurance, because you kept your gaze on me, even when your heart felt heavy, I am bringing acceleration, quiet, steady, undeniable. I am compressing time for your sake. What usually takes years to heal, I will begin to untie in months. What you thought you would someday rebuild, I will begin to rebuild sooner than you are ready to believe. Watch the first stretch of this year carefully, because I will restore in layers, first the inner life, then the outer fruit. First the roots, then the visible harvest. You will look back at the lean years and realize they were not wasted. They were training, filtration, and preparation for a season that can finally hold you without crushing you. So do not interpret 2026 as a fresh start the way the world does. This is not cosmetic. This is covenant. This is me rewriting the meaning of your past so it no longer controls your future. You are moving from barely surviving to overflowing restoration, not because you forced it, but because I have spoken it, and what I speak becomes structure. Stay close, because the next restoration I bring will touch your stewardship, your resources, your decisions, and the way you breathe when you look at numbers. My child, I have heard the sighs you released while staring at your bank balance, wondering how the ends would meet. I have seen the scarcity mindset coil around your thoughts, whispering that there is never enough, that you must live braced for impact, that one unexpected bill could collapse your peace. But hear me, I did not design you to measure your worth by a number. I am your source. An account is only a tool. In 2026, I am breaking the inner curse of not enough, not by making you reckless, but by making you steady. This year is not about chasing money with panic. It is about a shift in your financial spirit from fear to wisdom, from survival to stewardship, from impulse to alignment. Provision is not only what enters your hands, it is what I teach your hands to manage. I will pour ideas into you that carry solutions. I will give you strategies that feel simple but unlock doors. Pay attention to the quiet thoughts that come when you are washing dishes, driving, or waking from sleep. Those are not random. Those are blueprints. But I am not giving you resources so you can become louder. I am giving you resources so you can become freer. Wealth without wisdom becomes another chain. Increase without boundaries becomes another drain. So I am teaching you stewardship that protects your peace. Here is a practice I want you to adopt with humility and consistency, not as a ritual of fear, but as a rhythm of peace. 3 envelopes. 1 for essentials, what keeps your life stable. 1 for debt reduction and savings, what builds your future and lowers your pressure. 1 for seed, what you give, even if it is small, as an act of trust that breaks the throat of scarcity. When you sow while you feel not enough, you are not impressing me. You are healing yourself. You are training your spirit to believe that provision is bigger than anxiety. And as you grow, I will also teach you boundaries, because locusts do not always look like emergencies. Sometimes they look like people who feel entitled to what I gave you. Stewardship includes generosity, and stewardship includes gates. This shift will not come by a single miracle only. It will come by a new identity. You will stop approaching money like a frightened orphan, and you will start approaching it like a steward who trusts the Father's supply. You will no longer dread the numbers. You will learn to lead them. You will not worship them, and you will not fear them. You will manage with clarity, give with peace, save with patience, and build without panic. If you receive this comment, I choose stewardship. My beloved, your heart is a sanctuary, a holy temple where my spirit dwells, and I have seen how in the years leading up to this moment, you allowed the gates of this temple to stand unguarded. You permitted those who did not value your light to trample through your most sacred spaces, leaving behind the mud of their own insecurities and the wreckage of broken promises. You thought being loving meant being endlessly available, and you confused sacrifice with the slow erosion of your own soul. But in 2026, I am teaching you the holy art of the boundary. I am putting a new strength in your no and a divine clarity in your yes. You are not being unkind by protecting the peace I placed in you. You are being faithful with the life I breathed into you. Your life is a container, and if you allow worry, bitterness, and toxic access to fill every corner, there will be no room left for joy, creativity, restoration, and the destiny helpers I am trying to send. There is a difference, my child, between a heart that forgives and a door that stays unlocked. Forgiveness releases the debt, but wisdom protects the temple. Love can bless from a distance. Love can pray without reopening a wound. Love can remain soft without being naive. I am not calling you to become cold. I am calling you to become clean. Because when you live without boundaries, you do not become more holy, you become more depleted. And depletion makes even good people dangerous. It makes you irritable, reactive, resentful, and numb. And then you begin to blame yourself for not having the strength you were never meant to spend on everyone. So I am cleansing your circle. I am removing the leeches who only come to take, and I am exposing the patterns that kept you overgiving to people who under-honored you. Some of the relationships you mourn were not lost love. They were broken agreements. They were contracts you never consciously signed, but you kept paying anyway. Paying with your peace, paying with your sleep, paying with your mental health, paying with your future. In 2026, I am breaking that cycle. I am teaching you to recognize the difference between need and entitlement, between true connection and manipulation, between holy compassion and guilt-driven rescue. You do not have to save everyone to be good. You do not have to carry everyone to be loved. You do not have to bleed to prove you have a heart. And yes, I am also sending what you have been craving in silence destiny helpers. Souls with clean intentions. People who will not be intimidated by your growth or burdened by your process. People who will not demand that you stay small so they can feel safe. People who will sharpen you without shaming you, who will speak life without controlling your choices. The season of the lonely warrior is ending, but it will not end by you lowering your standards to avoid being alone. It will end by you raising your discernment so you stop feeding what drains you. You will no longer have to explain your worth to people committed to misunderstanding you. I am aligning you with hearts that recognize the oil on your life, and that alignment requires space. You cannot receive new wine while old containers are still leaking. So do not fear the empty chairs. Do not rush to refill them with the wrong souls out of loneliness. The silence is not punishment. It is protection. It is me resetting your spiritual temple so the next season does not repeat the last one. In 2026, your love will become stronger because it will become wiser. Your compassion will become purer because it will become guarded. And your peace will stop being negotiable because you will finally understand what I give you is not meant to be constantly donated to chaos. My beloved, I have felt every ache in your joints and every throb that kept you awake through long watches of the night. I have seen the way your body buckled under stress, how your energy was drained by constant demands, how you carried other people's emergencies like they were commandments. You looked at your reflection and saw a weariness sleep, could not touch a dullness in your eyes that spoke of a spirit trying to keep a tired vessel afloat. But I am the great physician, the one who knit you together before anyone knew your name, and I have not forgotten the temple I built for my presence. In 2026, I am initiating a season of physical renewal, and it will not come only as a moment. It will come as a rhythm. I am recalibrating your nervous system, washing away the cortisol of yesterday's battles and replacing it with peace so deep, your body remembers how to breathe again. Stress is not only a feeling, my child. It is a language your body speaks when your soul has been living too far from my rest. You tried to treat symptoms while ignoring the source. You tried to push through while your body begged to pause. You tried to stay productive while your spirit was quietly collapsing. So I am calling you back, not into laziness, but into wisdom. I am restoring you at the root. I am teaching you that healing is often not dramatic. It is daily. It is small decisions repeated in faith. It is the quiet discipline of returning to peace before the storm becomes sickness. Recall the vision I shared through Erica, how she saw the human body not as a fragile cage of bone and skin, but as a radiant vessel alive with light. She saw each cell as if it carried a song vibrating with the frequency of my love. That is not fantasy. That is a deeper truth than the surface world teaches. Your body listens. Your cells receive signals. Your nervous system responds to what your mind rehearses. That is why fear makes your chest tighten and peace makes your shoulders drop. So I am restoring not only your body, but the inner environment your body has been living in. Where there was inflammation, I am bringing cooling mercy. Where there was decay, I am bringing resurrection life. Where there was chronic fatigue, I am bringing renewal that feels like dawn. Now listen carefully, because I am not only promising healing, I am giving you a practice that protects it. Once a week, carve out a small Sabbath. 2 hours. No phone, no work, no proving. Just you and quiet beauty nature if you can. A slow walk, a window with light water trees, sky. Let your body relearn safety. Let your mind unclench. Let your spirit come home. This is not a luxury. This is warfare against the system that trained you to live in constant tension. When you do this, you are not falling behind. You are returning to alignment. You are building a sanctuary inside your schedule so your healing has somewhere to stay. And as you move through 2026, you will notice changes that feel almost unbelievable. You will wake with clearer thoughts. Your limbs will feel lighter. Your sleep will deepen. Your appetite will stabilize. Your breath will lengthen. Some things will shift suddenly, and some things will heal gradually, but both are my work. Do not curse your body for being tired. Honor it for enduring. Do not shame yourself for needing rest. Receive it as wisdom. Your body is not your enemy. It is the temple that carried you through war, and now it is time for it to be restored. Breathe deep, my beloved. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your cells remember peace. The year of restoration is not only about what happens around you, it is about what happens within you. My beloved, I do not want you to walk blindly into this year as if January is a gamble and December is a surprise. I have mapped the terrain from the first light of January to the final quiet evening of December. And I am not only showing you what will happen, I am showing you how to walk through it without losing your peace. This is not a calendar meant to pressure you. It is a rhythm meant to protect you. Do not see 2026 as 365 demands. See it as 365 opportunities to grow in alignment with me, one step at a time, one breath at a time, one faithful decision after another. From January through March, you will enter what I call the season of sowing and alignment. I will clear debris from your path and reset your internal compass. You will feel yourself losing appetite for what used to drain you. Not because you are forcing discipline, but because your spirit is changing taste. Old distractions will begin to feel noisy. Certain conversations will begin to feel heavy. Some people will drift without drama, and that is not loss, it is pruning. This is the quarter where I teach you how to simplify, how to organize what has been scattered, and how to build a clean inner environment so your life can hold what is coming. Your prayer life will become less frantic and more steady. Your boundaries will begin to feel natural instead of guilty. By the end of this first stretch, you will notice a quiet lightness, like the clutter of 2025 has been burned away, and your foundation has finally become solid. From April through June, you will enter the season of training and fortification. The intensity will increase not to break you, but to make you fireproof. I will place you in situations that require you to practice the peace you have been learning, to apply the boundaries you have been building, to choose wisdom over impulse in real time. This is not a test to expose you. It is a process to reveal how much you have grown. In these months, I will begin to drop seeds into your spirit, creative ideas, business solutions, family healing, quiet assignments that look small but carry weight. What you do with little things will matter here. The small tasks, the private decisions, the moments when no one applauds you. These are the entrance exams for the much I am preparing. Do not despise slow progress in this quarter. Roots grow in darkness before fruit appears in daylight. From July through September, you will enter the season of acceleration. A shift will occur in the atmosphere around you, and what felt dormant will begin to sprout with speed that does not match human logic. Doors will open that used to resist you. Opportunities that would have taken years to manifest will begin to converge in weeks, sometimes days. And you will recognize my hand, not because everything becomes effortless, but because the timing becomes unmistakable. I will align you with destiny helpers who have been searching for someone with your specific light and your specific scars. Do not be intimidated by the velocity. I have been preparing your heart for this pace since the moment you trusted me in the dark. You were not built to crawl forever through a valley. You were built to soar when the wind shifts. From October through December, you will enter the season of harvest and full storehouse. This is the quarter of consolidation where what you started in January, what you forged in spring, and what accelerated in summer begins to settle into stability. The harvest will not only be financial, it will be internal peace that remains when life shakes. Confidence that no longer depends on approval. Clarity that does not dissolve under pressure. You will look back at the version of you that entered 2026 and barely recognize them. The scars of 2025 will have become medals, not because you glorified suffering, but because you allowed me to transform it. You will feel a resonant sense of well done, not as flattery, but as confirmation that you walked with me through the year instead of running from yourself. And remember this, my beloved. The point of this roadmap is not perfection. It is presence. If you stumble in one quarter, you do not lose the year. You return to me. If you feel behind in 1 month, you do not abandon the process. You breathe, you recalibrate, you continue. This is how you walk through the gateway, steady, anchored, and guided. Now we come to a moment of sacred finality, the kind of moment your spirit recognizes, even if your mind cannot explain it. Close your eyes for a second and visualize the luggage you have been dragging behind you through the dust of the past year. A heavy, rusted trunk filled with betrayals, receipts of debt, medical reports that made your stomach sink, screenshots you wish you never saw, conversations that still echo, and names you still carry like bruises. You have been holding this weight as if it were identity. But I am telling you the truth. You cannot enter the palace wearing the rags of the dungeon. You cannot cross a gateway while gripping chains. This is not punishment. This is mercy. This is me loving you too much to let you drag your wounds into your next season, as if pain is the price of being alive. So I'm inviting you into a sealing ritual, not superstition, not performance, but a spiritual severance from the cycle that tried to define you. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of the gateway. Feel the warmth of the light emanating from 2026. A golden radiance waiting to wash over you, not to erase your story, but to cleanse your spirit. In my hands, I hold what you could not manufacture. By effort, a robe of favor, a cloak of authority, and shoes of peace that will not wear out. But to put on the new, you must let the old fall away. Drop the trunk, release the handle. Do not negotiate with what I am asking you to release. Do not look back for one last explanation. Some things will never give you closure in words, but they will give you closure in surrender. Listen, hear the sound in the spirit as the locks behind you click shut. Those chapters are finished. The doors to your past are sealed by my own hand, and what I shut, no man, no shadow, no demon, and no memory can reopen. You are not losing your history. You are losing your chains. You are not denying what happened. You are refusing to let it govern what happens next. Now look ahead. I have set before you an open door, and it stands wide. This door leads to restored joy, doubled peace, renewed strength, and a life that fits the person you are becoming. As you step across this threshold, you are not simply walking into a new time, you are walking into a new version of yourself. The you that was bullied by anxiety and haunted by lack is staying behind. The you that emerges is steadied, cleansed, armed with wisdom. The you that emerges is not naive. The you that emerges is not hard. The you that emerges is healed enough to love without losing themselves. Feel this, I am placing my seal upon you, not as a mark of fear, but as a mark of belonging. You are protected. You are chosen. You are destined for a level of glory that will make the trials of the past feel like a distant dream. Not because you forgot them, but because they no longer control your breathing. The ground you tread is holy now, and every step you take in 2026 will be ordered by my wisdom. So let this moment sink deeper than emotion. Let it enter the marrow. Let it become a decision your spirit remembers when the old voice tries to return. When the past knocks, you will not answer as a prisoner. You will answer as one who has crossed over. You have stepped through the door that no one can shut, and what I have begun in you will not be left unfinished. My beloved child, as we reach the end of this sacred message, I want you to feel the weight of my glory resting upon your life, not heavy like pressure, but steady like truth. You are no longer the person who clicked on this message. That version of you, the one burdened by the shadows of 2025 and the aftertaste of betrayal, has been left on the other side of the threshold. You have crossed something invisible, yet real. You have walked through a doorway in the spirit, and now you are standing on holy ground, the ground of your 2026. Hear me clearly, you are not just a survivor of the storm. You are becoming the ruler of the calm that follows. I did not carry you through fire so you could live afraid of smoke. I did not rescue you from collapse so you could spend your future bracing for another fall. I am not calling you to merely endure. I am calling you to reign. This year is not a question mark over your head. It is a coronation in your spirit. I am placing a new crown of favor upon you and a new authority in your voice. The territory the enemy tried to steal your peace, your health, your family, your finances, your identity comes back under my jurisdiction, and I am handing the keys back to you. Now listen. Because restoration is not only what I do for you, it is what I do through you. I did not heal you so you could only feel better. I healed you so you could become a living sign that healing is real. I did not comfort you so you could hide. I comforted you so you could carry comfort with wisdom. This is the part of many skip. The blessing is not meant to stop at you. It is meant to flow through you. And this is where your year becomes dangerous to darkness, because a restored soul becomes a refuge for others. So I am giving you a simple assignment, not to burden you, but to align you. This year, choose one name, one person, someone who is quietly drowning behind a smile, someone who feels unseen, someone whose inner world is cracking. You will not save them. You are not me. But you will carry presence. You will carry prayer. You will carry consistency. You will check on them. You will speak life when their own mind speaks death. You will become a safe place without becoming a savior. This is the ministry of presence, and it is holy. When you sit with the grieving, when you strengthen the weary, when you encourage the forgotten, you are not doing something small. You are touching me. You are giving my heart a voice in the earth. And do not fear that you lack enough to give. I am not asking you to pour from an empty vessel. I am teaching you to pour from overflow. Boundaries will protect your peace. Sabbath will protect your strength. Stewardship will protect your provision. Discernment will protect your future. You will learn to bless without bleeding. You will learn to love without losing yourself. You will learn to help without surrendering your gates to chaos. This is maturity. This is what it looks like when a chosen one becomes anchored. Now, this is your final activation. The heavens are leaning in, waiting for the sound of your agreement to echo through the atmosphere. This is not just a comment under a video. It is a declaration in the unseen. Type 26 is mine, or 838 in the comments right now, and let that be your signature under this decree. Press, like as your amen, a simple act that says, I agree with heaven over my life, and to subscribe so you remain connected to this sanctuary, because I will continue to guide you through every month, every shift, every open door, and every hidden trap. You are not meant to walk back into the world alone with only motivation. You are meant to walk with alignment. And if you feel led to support this mission of spreading light to those who are still trapped in their 2025, consider sending a super thanks as an offering of gratitude. Not as payment for a blessing, I do not sell what I give, but as a seed that declares I am part of this harvest. I am a vessel of blessing. I sow into what is feeding my spirit. My beloved child, the gateway is behind you and the glory is before you. Walk forward with your head lifted, not in pride but in peace. Do not fear the future. I am already there. Every morning you wake in 2026, remember this. I am with you, I am for you, and I have already secured your victory. You are home. It is done. Amen.